What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with
Sarakana.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy, and we're back with another Diablo 3, finally back for some Diablo 3 video. Today we're going to look at Season 36, the blog post has finally dropped, it is 12th of September, it is the Soul Shards, it's going to be amazing. We're going to talk all about what this means for D3 and the future, go through the season theme, go through the conquests, go through the Haedrig gifts, all that good stuff. If you would like to give me a thumbs up, as always, it will brighten my day. First off, Season 36, this is a repeat of, I think, Season 25? Yes, that's right here, Season 25. Reading is hard, guys. They did it for Season 30, so this indicates that we are now on a 6-season theme rolling rotation. 35 was the, like, funky kill streak mechanic. You could cheese it to get 150s, but it was not very popular. And I think it kind of dropped off a little bit of an annoying mechanic for the casual players. Obviously for those who are super serious, great mechanic. You can 150 like everything with it. So it was, you know, depended on your viewpoint. The date is interesting because this, I think, is just under 2 weeks before the next Diablo 4 season. I'm still not checking out D4 at the moment. I might do at some point in the future. But for the moment, I'm just going to do D3, give this a really good blast for a couple of weeks, and then see where things lie. But I do like that it launches beforehand, and it means that we can, you know, if you wish, you can nostalgia, blast from the past, come smack Sentry everywhere, and then off you go, D4, if that's what you want. So the Lords of Hell, Season 36, as I say, we had it just under 2 years ago. And it is the Soul Shards. So they can drop kind of like anywhere in the game, these Soul Shards. You have to collect the Hellforge Embers, and this is your material for upgrading the Soul Shards. So there's two types. One type will go in your helmet, one will go in your weapon. They're really powerful. They add just so absolute mega juice, and also they're fantastic for augments, because when you do the triple upgrade, so 3 Hellforge Embers, upgrade your Soul Shard, it will then allow you to do like a 1-2-5 augment as if you had a Whisper of Atonement. I think that was how it worked. But yeah, very powerful. You can salvage them. They had goodies inside as well, which I think was Greater Rift keys and DBs, but I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. But the idea is you get to use 2 at once, which is cool. It's a fun and engaging season theme because not only do you have to find the Soul Shards, which do have a higher drop rate in bosses if you want to try and like boost your amount of time finding them, but plenty will drop in the game as you go. You do have to find your Hellforge Embers, and then you have to kind of like unlock them. They've all got a base power, so you'll always get that. Then you've got like a 1 in 3 chance of a special power, and then you get like a stat roll as well. So it can be quite RNG heavy to get what you want, specifically boxed off all the stats. So I think that the reason why I think this is a really good season theme is it adds tons of power, which is always really good fun. It gives you something to find, so the loot chase person like myself, we're finding something new, which is exciting. And then we do have the RNG element of unlocking it, so you can get something really powerful to start with, but if you absolutely want it perfect, you can be looking at quite a few of these upgrades, but each one can be used to, you know, augment something, which is nice. So the shards are the Sliver of Terror. So base power, cooldowns increased by 25%. They do all have like a little bit of a negative with them. For every skill on cooldown, you take 12.5% reduced damage though, and deal 12.5% increased damage. And then your 3 special unlocks for this are attack speed, crit chance, increased by 5% for each skill on cooldown. So obviously the more cooldowns you do, the more damage you're pumping out. You can cast Devastating Ring of Fire after 100 kills, which is pretty underwhelming. But the other one, which I think I want to say I use this one quite a bit, 3 or more skills on cooldown, lightning and fire damage is increased by 50%. Obviously, Fist of Heaven's Crusader, I think this season was amazing, so it is pretty nice. Shard of Hatred, you deal 15% reduced damage when you have 3 or fewer enemies within 25 yards, that's the negative. 3 or more enemies within the same distance, you deal 5% increased damage per enemy, up to a max of 50. Additional powers, killing an elite pulls enemies towards you. This was really good for support characters, support Barb, I think use this quite a bit. Or you could get move speed is increased by 50%. Each enemy within 25 yards reduces your move speed by 10% up to 70. So again, that'll be like a bit of a kind of move speedy type build. You can also get 10% damage for every enemy instead of 5% to a maximum of 100. So obviously doubling through your power on that one. Fragment of Destruction, you can move unhindered through enemies. That's really not very important in today's game with the Altar of Rites. Enemies you pass through get Mark of Destruction for 7 seconds. When they die, it takes 1 second off your cooldown, like a little bit like a mini Messerschmitt's Reaver. If the mark expires before the enemy dies, you lose some of your health, which is the negative, and marks are not applied if you're below 35% health. Always a bit of a weird one, that one. Additional powers that you can get, you have a 25% chance to restore 5% health when an enemy dies. Probably not that useful. When you apply Mark of Destruction to an enemy, you increase your move speed by 5% for 7 seconds. Max stacks 10, so 50%. So again, a little bit of a move speedy type build there. And then you can leave a trail of fire in your wake that slays enemies that are below 10% health. Again, something can be done with support for that. Obviously, it's like the Executioner kind of effect. The Lesser Shards, the Stain of Sin, you deal 25% less damage. Boo. But when you kill 50 enemies, you spawn a pool of blood that increases the damage done to elite enemies by 150 in the last 15 seconds. Again, I think in 4-player, this was used because obviously that is quite a big amount of power. The blood can negate elite affixes, which obviously is really nice. For support, it can also give a Rift Orb extra, and that does stack, I think, with the Altar of Rites when you kill an elite pack. Or you can get the pool of blood collects the Rift Orbs for you. Again, probably pretty pointless with all the max like pickup radius we get with the Altar of Rites. Dreg of Lies, base power, you deal 25% less damage. Again, boo. But your pets deal more damage. So if you're doing a pet build, that's pretty nice because obviously you don't care about that. Additional powers, killing an enemy reduces all of your active cooldowns by 5 seconds, kind of like half an Ingium. So, you know, again, for some sort of speed builds, particularly for some necro stuff, could be okay. On receiving fatal damage, spawn a shadow that prevents your death, restores you to 35% health, and grants 225 all res to all party members whilst it's active. Lasts 15 seconds. Hey, don't we all?
And then we'll laugh. High five.
Each time your pet hits an enemy, your damage is increased by 0.5% for 5 seconds. This is quite a good one. Stacks up to 100 times, so that's quite a lot of damage. But then once you get to 100 stacks, it quickly resets down to 0. So I think I remember doing a bit of an Inner Monk starting off with this a couple of years ago, but it is good. Remnant of Pain, crits chances reduced by 15%, so that's the negative there. Attacks against incapacitated enemies are automatically crits though, so support Necro is fantastic for this season because obviously it freezes the screen with Land of the Dead. That allows everybody to just pile on the crit damage rather than worrying about crit chance. Additional powers, hitting an enemy with cold damage has 50% chance to freeze them. Obviously that's like a little bit of a synergy here because you could cold incapacitate. Cold is increased by 20% against frozen targets. Again, kind of like synergistically all works. Gaining passability whilst your move speed bonus is over 50%. Again, not really very useful in today's game because again, Altar of Rites. When you move through enemies, you knock them back and stun them for 2 seconds. Now, that's kind of annoying because that's like basically a speed pile-on effect, and that's generally bad because you want to be able to time your own crowd controls. When you critically hit an enemy, you increase the attack speed of all players by 5% for 5 seconds, max 10 stacks. Again, I think some support builds use that. There's a lot of options for support. Essence of Anguish based power. Every time you deal poison damage, you increase your cooldown reduction and move speed by 2.5%. Whilst your damage received is increased by 5% for 10 seconds, max 10 stacks. So obviously cooldown, move speed, but you are taking more damage. Additional powers for this, move speed and cooldown reduction can be increased up to 15 times by dealing poison damage to an enemy. So obviously move faster, more cooldowns, always fun. When you deal poison damage to an enemy, they receive 50% increased poison damage from all sources for 10 seconds. So again, something cool you can do with that. Killing an enemy deals the damage done by death blow to all enemies within 25 yards. Again, a very nice speed item because you can just get this like clearing effect that goes around. So they're all kind of useful. Again, there are meta builds always. There will be the best in class for the best things, for the best slots, but ultimately any of these things will give you something you can work with, even if you're only going to play a little bit. Looking at the cosmetics rewards, we've got the pretty cool griffin wings here. I don't know if I've got these on all of my accounts, so I might play to get this reward on a few just to mop it up. Nice portrait frame here with the angelic look on it. And again, this is one of my favourite pets in the game. It is of course from Diablo 2. It is the lesser mummy pet. It is pretty fun. So again, I'll probably try and mop that up on any accounts that I've missed it. Again, a nice portrait frame. So we've got a nice angelic one and a nice demonic one as well. In terms of conquests, it's perfect season, really easy. We have got boss mode, which is extremely doable in today's game, especially with the powers on the Soul Shards. Obviously, we just covered a bunch of them. We've got move speed added anyway. We can do ourselves the clear GR45 solo without any set items equipped. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. So that one, you've just got to be bothered to put the gear on, and that will be absolutely fine. On a good day, any legendary gems times 3 up to 65. Again, that's pretty much a freebie. So there are your 3 that are very, very easy. If you really wanted to, you could farm curses and just look for the peak bounty in Act 5. And it is, fairly doable on a first try. Years of War, you're going to have to make 2 classes, but ultimately all the conquests are doable. But with those 3 that we highlighted at the start being the easiest. Haedrig's Gift Time. Not the best sets to start with. A couple of options, I think. Monk gets Uliana's Stratagem. I think that's not amazing to start with. And I can't remember off the top of my head what the supporting items are. I don't think I've ever started Uliana Monk. So that probably leads me to believe that it's not brilliant. Natalia's, I think when we did the starter video for this, we could get this to work early. But of course it is a mega powerful push set. But I don't think anybody in their right mind uses it for speed farming, because you've got Gears of Dreadlands and stuff like that. It's multi-shot on the Demon Hunter. But it might be worth a little look-see because it is powerful. Crusader gets the Seeker of the Light, which is the hammers. This does have something going for it, as in the supporting items are insanely easy to get with a low level character, so that is interesting. And Aegis of Valor, Fist of Heavens was just amazing in the Soul Shard season, so I can see a lot of people going that way. Wizard Veers is a pretty trash starting set because you need Archon up for it to be useful, and that means tons of cooldown, so it's kind of sucky, I think, to start. Immortal King is really meh. I think it's fine in that it works with lots of things, quite flat damage modifier. It's not amazing. It's not particularly quick. You wouldn't really ever speed farm with it. You're going to want to get into Whirlwind. Witch Doctor, nobody plays Witch Doctor. It's just the God's honest truth. But Spirit of Arakir is a strong push set, and I think the chicken works with this as well, I want to say. So yeah, you'll have options as Witch Doctor, but again, not many people start it. And I suppose probably the standout one is the Necromancer, because Shadkul's Avatar is a really strong set. It'll be very strong in the season theme with all the juice and power, I think. And yeah, we get it for free. Now, Necro is super fast to level anyway, so this could be a very easy way into just getting into T16 and then maybe making another character. But from memory, I think last time we did Soul Shards, I spent a lot of time playing Monk with the juiced up inner set, because obviously the pet stuff works. And I spent a lot of time doing the Fist of Heavens Crusader, because the lightning, I think 50% lightning roll on one of these things, I think hit like an absolute truck. And yeah, move speed and stuff. Obviously the way that works is that is kind of it. So that is it, guys. That is the post. Of course, we know we're not getting anything new. I think it's interesting that we're potentially on a rotation now. Every 3 months we get a new season, because provided they actually get the D4 content out on time, I suspect we're going to get a D3 season like a week to 2 beforehand. I'm kind of pleased that we're not doing the Snowball season theme, because I think that would have been rubbish. I would have liked them to have done the full whack of the altar, so Altar of Rights, of course, is in every single season, but what I would have liked is to have it as it was in its original state, with the glorious tons and tons of tiers that were added with that. But it does look like we're now just going to get these 6 season themes rotated, because that would be the logical step. I'll have a look on the message boards and see if I can pull any more information. But it's been pretty much radio silence from Blizzard, from D3 perspective, for quite some time now. But yeah, Soul Shards, definitely one of my favourite seasons. I'm really excited. I hope you are too. I'll get to work on some starter videos, and then we'll see where we go. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I've been Filthy Casual. Take it easy. Peace.